Well, welcome back to the series, the saga that is my old Bayliner. We're making some more moves today. Hopefully we can install our caps to our boxes there and then install our seat boxes. This is more or less just a little layer there that the pedestals for the seats are going to screw down into. Let me go show you those. So it's kind of hard to see how this is going to look outside of the boat, but I've been working on these for a few days now. Got the insides all covered in resin, and got the holes drilled because they're going to be backfilled with foam. Now these are a little sandwich of what we got up top here is oak, then a piece of my plywood, piece of oak, another piece of plywood, and these are going to be going inside of these boxes, and those seats are going to screw into them for a nice sturdy platform. At least I hope so. I think we have some 3-inch lags, so it should get us all the way into both pieces of the oak. But this morning I've been prepping everything in hopes to get these things installed, because the next few days are probably going to be my last chance to do the fiberglassing for the deck if I want to get that done this year. It needs to be the right temperature and the right humidity, and it hasn't been in the last week or two, so fingers crossed we get it done. So what we're going to do with this is cover this with the thickened resin, the peanut butter, glue that into place, and then maybe hit it with some staples from the top side just to hold it in place so it doesn't want to squirm around, because this needs to be perfect so I know where to screw my pedestals in top side. That should give you a little bit better of an idea of what we're working with here. That's what it's going to look like. And we're going to have the 2 pedestals coming up from there, and then all this opened area back here. Now we just got to glue it all down and install it. So what I'm doing now is just hitting all my surfaces that are going to get the thickened resin with regular resin, just to promote adhesion, make sure everything sticks the way it's supposed to. And I'm soaking this whole area that's going to not be fiberglassed in the resin, just to waterproof it, because it's going to be backfilled with foam, and there's going to be fiberglass on top of everything else. So we're just soaking everything in the regular old resin right now. Now I've got some thickened resin. I've got that all around the edge here. Just gonna act as a glue. And now we're gonna take our board, squish it in place, and we're gonna hit it with some staples and make sure I got it in the right spot here. Because once I do this, no turning back. All right. All right. We're getting somewhere. I'm trying not to get my thing here covered in resin. So I'm going to do this all the way around, do the same thing to the other side. And we're going to put some resin on here, some thickened resin, put that in there and pop it in. Oh, what a mess. Alright, I got my thickened resin on my blocks, and that's how I made these blocks. I used thickened resin, sandwiched them all together, and then I put a bunch of weight on top of them and let them dry. But we're going to install them in here. Now this is going to be the hard part. I haven't marked in here where exactly these need to be, but I need to flip this over and hit it with a staple from the other side. So I don't know how I'm going to do that, because obviously this wants to slip and slide all over the place. We're just going to have to go for it. We're just going to have faith. I'll put 2 for now. Just confirm. Oh, where are we at? Where are we at? It came over this way a little bit. Alright. Well, it slid this way just a little bit on me. This here is good, but I gotta remember that my measurements need to be over this way about 1/4 of an inch when I go to screw in my actual pedestals, but I'm happy with that. Now I gotta do this side. This side moved a little bit too. This one moved a little bit this way. Of course it did. So this one over here is about 2.5 inches in on both sides. But this one here, 2.5 this way, but 2.25 this way. So I'll just meet it in the middle. It'll work just fine. That could have went way worse than it did. I'm pleased with that. Now I'm just going to take the rest of my thickened resin and fill in this crack all the way around these. Actually, that might work better with the brush. Yeah, just brush it in, stab it in and smooth it out. So now I'm not sure if my foam is going to get into this area once I install these and foam them in. So what I'm going to do is try to pour foam right here and then cover that up with something, and hopefully all goes well. But let's mix our foam. This might be way too much. We're about to find out. Just going to pour it in here and there. Yep, something tells me this is way too much. It is running out quick. I want to keep it in this corner. Should have got some props. Rise, do your thing. Everybody's watching. Once it gets to the top here, I'm gonna cover it with a piece of wood. I'm gonna try not to slam these when I put them back down here, because I don't want it to fall. Apparently you can make it fall. Actually, that worked out quite nicely. I'm going to cover it with this for the rest of my time, which is about 4 minutes. Alright, as you can see, we squirted out the sides and we started squirting out up here, so I had to rip a piece off, but I haven't lifted this up yet, so kind of worried that was going to happen. I was going to stick to this wood. It stuck to this because this is real dry plywood. Probably should have waited a little longer before I lifted it up, but you live and you learn. All right, well, decision time. That didn't go quite right, but watching this stuff work, I think it'll fill these voids up perfectly, so I'm just gonna rip all this out. All right, we're getting that out of there. See ya. Stuck in my glove. Nope, didn't work. We tried. I think it'll backfill perfectly fine when we pour it in the holes from the top side. So let me get some new gloves. We'll see what else we can do. Now I'm just putting some resin on the bottom of these and these areas over here on these side pieces, because once I cover them up, I won't be able to waterproof them. And then we're gonna thicken this resin and glue these pieces in. Let's do it. I'm just spreading out my glue now. My thickened epoxy resin. We're going to glue these things down, and hopefully they're up to my standards, because I'm pretty nitpicky about everything. I've been out here prepping this all day today, waiting for this moment. All right, the moment of truth. Put a little bit of glue on this area here too. All right, now the moment of truth. These holes come in handy. Oh, that's the wrong side. That's the captain's side. That would not have been good. Let's do this. Oh, God. Well, obviously I'm going to be doing a little finagling out here for a little while. Oh, I got to get some epoxy in that. Forgot to do that edge there and this edge here. Alright, so I'm just going to tack this in so it'll stay where I want it. So I'm gonna go make some more resin so I can fill in all these creases on these sides, and I'm gonna squish it all back in there. All right, now I'm gonna squish it over there. And I might even hold it in with one of these. Squish that over. That didn't take. Now, if that's not going anywhere, and it's where I want it. Now I'm gonna take the rest of the thickened resin, the peanut butter, and go around all these seams. To sort of get it all smoothed out, because once I tab it in, the fiberglass will lay on it better. Just like that. So I'm gonna do this, and I guess I'll see you when I'm done doing this. Well, good morning. I worked into the dark last night, but I got it done. Filled in all my cracks and all my seams. Laid 100 pounds on each one of these to keep them where I wanted them. So the goal for today is do the tabbing on all my edges and then fill the boxes with foam. And then make some more thickened epoxy and put my pucks back in, and then hopefully prep everything for fiberglass in the entire deck tomorrow, hopefully. So let's do the tabbing. All right, here we go. I got my resin all mixed up. I prepped all the surfaces, cleaned all the surfaces, sanded all the surfaces, hit all the surfaces with acetone, cut out my 1708 fiberglass. We got the resin here. I guess I'll show you how I'm gonna do this. First, we need to wet out our area. Do that with a little chip brush. These things are so cheap. I like cheap disposable items. Wet out the area, and this is why you do the fillets, so it sort of rounds out those corners, because fiberglass doesn't like to sit on a 90 degree. Now I'm going to wet out the back of my 1708. This just helps things get going. Wet out the back of that. And you can already see it already starting to soak through in some places. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it. If we get any air bubbles, I'll use this little Bondo spreader to squeegee them out. I have a fin roller too, but I haven't had to use it yet. I'll push this right into the seam first. Make sure it's nice and taut. And then just wet it out. I'm just going to use my chip brush for this. Wet it till you can see the wood underneath. I want to soak these pretty thoroughly. Make sure it stays where it's supposed to be. That's what I'm going to be doing for a little while now. You can see it sort of starting to take there. But you wet it out as much as you can. And I'll see you once I got all this tabbed in. Be back in a minute. Okay, it was a second. For you guys at least. We are all tabbed in. And just a reminder, the white stuff is my thickened resin. It's not bubbles. All tabbed in all the way around. Looking good. This whole project is coming together nicely. I think so anyway. Now what I'm going to do is let that set up, let that harden up for the next couple hours, and then I'm going to backfill my foam and put my pucks back in. But the last video I posted was me doing that to the rest of the deck. So I think we're going to cut it right here. Thank you guys for the love and support, and everybody out there is actually following this. There's people cutting their grass, and maybe I'll cut my grass. I do appreciate it. We're getting there. Hopefully I get this done tonight. The next video will be fiberglass in the entire deck. Until then, thank you guys for watching, and God bless. See you next time.